Hey, footy fans! Welcome to Brews and Banter FC, where we break down the EPL action with a side of banter. I'm Redbeard, joined by the football maestro Targo.
That's right, man. Get ready for the lowdown that happened on Matchday 14, and we take a sneak peek into Matchday 15. We've got all you guys covered.
So grab a brew, hit play, let the banter flow, because an all-new episode of Brews and Banter FC starts right now.
What is up, man? What a weekend of football it was. What are you drinking for this episode? Watching it all down with.
I know, man. I need a big old beer to wash this one down with. So I got one the size of my massive head. It's Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome Ale. It says brewed
Winter
at
Welcome
Yorkshire's. Yeah, it's all the way from England, matter of fact. Brewed at Yorkshire's oldest brewery. There's a lot going on here. If you can't see that.
I cannot see it.
A lot. It's a lot.
Let us know how it tastes, man. Let us know how it tastes.
Well,
this came all the way across the pond.
The thing I'm most excited about with this one is it's an actual pint. Like, my cup is full. So, very excited
Well, aren't
about
you lucky? Us American pints over here are always slightly not quite there. Just not quite there.
Right. Not quite. Just a couple ounces missing.
Someone could say that about us too, but whatever.
yeah, I'm definitely missing.
I'd say that about you, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely missing.
A couple ounces missing.
Yeah, just off the top there. It's good. It's a winter ale, so very
sounds up your alley.
Yeah, very rich in barley and malt. Pretty good. Nothing to write home about. 7.
7? Yeah.
7.
I can tell from the look on your face. You're like, that's average. Yeah.
A lot of beer, but it's
It's average beer. Well, I am drinking Matchless, the Grail, Hazy IPA.
Ooh, did you bless that first?
Oh. Here's a quick blessing. I have never had this beer, man. I will give it a try. That is a pretty good beer. I like it.
Is it the Grail of beers?
No, it's not. It's not as flavorful as most hazies.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty mild. So I would give it. I'd give it a 7.5.
Okay. Well, if you saw it, you might buy it again if there's nothing better to choose. So
yeah, I would drink it again for sure if it was there, but I wouldn't seek it out.
No,
not like those other hazies we had this weekend.
Those were good. Well, speaking of this weekend, Targo, let's get into match week 14 in the English Premier League. To kick it all off, we had Brentford against Luton Town. Brentford would win this one 3-1, taking the lead all the way in the 49th minute through Neil Maupay after a Jan Visa cross flicked on by Ben Mee. Filled up Maupay, who put it away, gave the home side the lead at the G-Tech Stadium. Ben Mee would be involved in the second one, make it 2-0 for the Bees off of a corner in the 56th minute. Did take
a wicked deflection. Yeah. Even that first one, that was just kind of lucky. It fell for Maupay. It's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Pretty much the story of Luton's season. Just momentary lapse in defending. Or focus.
/ unlucky.
Yeah.
Seems to be Luton. Their way.
Yeah, Luton would get back into the match with a shout in the 76th minute as Jacob Brown would capitalize on a Jan El poor tackle to put it into the back of the net. It's very poor, and I'll be honest, it's so bad it almost looks like he slips.
It was so bad. It was so bad, yeah. Just lets his forward there for Luton go right through. Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there, man.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know 6-year-olds that make better tackles than that.
Right? And a lot of times they just fall over. So, yeah, that kind of sums it up. Brentford would put the match away in the 81st minute as Shannon Baptiste would dribble through the Luton defense and put a powerful drive into the back of the net after a fantastic parry by Kaminsky would land at his feet.
Again, another kind of unlucky for Luton. Kaminsky makes a fantastic save. Falls right to a Brentford forward who just has the easiest job to tap it in.
Yep. Let's tap it in. Good for us. We both
Tap
picked Brentford to win this one. So
we did both pick Brentford.
One match that I don't know if anyone really saw coming as far as a blowout goes. Burnley played Sheffield United in this bottom of the table 6-pointer, and Burnley would score almost as many goals as they'd scored all season, winning 5-0.
Bro, they finally got a win at home after 8 games.
Was it 8 or was this the 9th game? They lost 8 in a row.
I don't know. It was
bad.
Shit ton is all I know. It was
Yeah.
a lot. Like a record or something.
Well, Jay Rodriguez would kick this match off in style, essentially right off kickoff. With a nice
Seconds, man. Seconds into the game.
Jacob Brune Larson would make it 2-0 in the 29th minute. And then Ollie McBurney would be sent off in first half stoppage time with a second yellow.
Pretty much he decided to throw this bow, gone in yellow, threw the other bow, got a yellow.
Threw his arms up, both bows
his
up in
arms
the
up,
air, red card. On his
Pretty
way
much
to the
how it
locker
went.
room.
And then after
Zeke,
that, Burnley were just cruise control, man.
Oh, yeah. Easy sledding for them because Zeke Amdouni would make it 3-0 in the 73rd minute. And just 2 minutes later, pretty much the star of the show for Burnley all season, Koliocho would make it 4-0. How good is he then?
Koliocho? Ocho, number 8, Ocho Cinco.
Ocho
yeah, dude,
Cinco.
He has been their best player this season. He's a fantastic winger.
Yeah, he is a stud. And what is he, 19? Something like that?
Very young, yeah. Probably won't be staying at Burnley when they get relegated, that's for sure.
Yep, 100%. Josh Brownhill would finish off the blowout in the 80th minute with a thumping goal. And, it really shows the golfing class between Sheffield United and really the rest of the relegation threatened sides.
What do you mean? Like Luton are above them. Everton are literally they're only better than one team, and that team is Sheffield.
No, I was saying Sheffield United. There's a gap between them and everybody else.
Okay, I got
Sheffield
you.
United
I thought you were saying
worse.
Burnley.
No, I'm saying
better than
Burnley is really bad, and Sheffield United is that much worse.
Okay, yep.
Yes.
That's a fact. Yes.
Yeah.
Sheffield are that bad.
They're really bad.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you're Sheffield United? You're
Get
Sheffield
a new
United's
coach, try something new.
What do you do? Do you keep with this manager, look to a new one?
I would say look to a new one at this point. See how far he can take you, till pretty much the Christmas break, which is right after the New Year. Sorry, the January break.
Once you want to get rid of, if you are going to get rid of a manager, wouldn't you want to get rid of them before that so you could get someone in to look at a few games, see what they need, maybe spend some money in January? Or are you just sticking with them saying, you know what, he got us to the Premier League, we'll stick with him?
I want to say a little bit of both. It's more because
you can't pick both, man. You got one or the other.
Well, you're asking, if I get this right, you're asking, like, why would you stick with him or would you get rid of somebody? And the reason why I get rid of him is because there's so many games coming up. If you hire someone new, they'd have zero time to implement their new play style.
Would you get a new manager bounce?
Yeah, but you got like 3 days in between every single game from here until the end of the calendar year. I guess, to your point, it's not going to get any worse. So,
I mean, I guess, okay, here, let's look at their schedule, Sheffield's. They got Liverpool next, so okay, that sucks for them. Brentford at home. Then they got to go to Stamford Bridge and play Chelsea. Then they got to go to Villa. and then they finally play Luton at the end of December, the day after Christmas. Do you see them getting any points from those next 4 games?
No.
And
Not
so
even-
here we
not
are. It's
even
going to be the
one.
end of the year, and they are still sitting on
5 points.
5 points. And now they're, instead of being 4 points from safety, they're 10.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to make a change, man, honestly, do it now. You're probably going to lose those games anyway.
Yeah.
At least you get a new manager who can maybe get some kind of result against Brentford, maybe. I don't know.
Luton.
Chelsea?
Chelsea,
That's until
yeah.
the very end of December. That's after Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think, again, you're going to want someone in there to see the squad, see what they need to maybe try to get someone in January, if that's the route you go. I don't get me wrong. I see an argument for both ends of it. Keeping him and just sticking with it. I mean, what are the odds he's the first manager to go? Quite pretty high.
Probably pretty good. Yeah. I don't think Vegas would really take that bet if you went that direction. Yeah, I don't know. But that's a great question. What do you guys think? Will he be the first manager fired? Let us know by checking out our social media. So Facebook, our Facebook group, Instagram. Let us know on YouTube as well. Make sure you're hitting that notification bell, like, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. On to the next match, Nottingham Forest and Everton. Yeah. In a match where Forest enjoyed the majority of the possession, Everton would get off the mark late in this one with a majestic strike from Dwight McNeil. Smashed his volley home into the top corner of the net.
Good result for Everton, man.
Sums up the entire match right there, because there was nothing else to
go away to Forest and get the win, and they did, and they needed that after that 10-point deduction. So Everton, they're sitting in 18th on 7 points. Forest, though, man, they could use a win here. They got 1 win in their last 5. They're sitting in 15th place on 13 points.
Yeah, and with the teams below them starting to pick up points,
that's a little scary for Steve Cooper, huh?
Yeah. The only positive I would say about this match is Forest did hit the post twice, but they didn't really look dangerous other than those 2 attacking plays. So they're missing Aouni real bad right now.
Chris Wood as their center forward does not instill any hope if you're a Forest fan.
No. But yep, that one was a snooze fest. If anyone stayed awake during that game, good for you.
We tried.
Next up, we tried. Arsenal took on Wolves next. Arsenal winning 2-1 in this one, going top of the table with a win versus a banged-up Wolves side. Bukayo Saka will get the Gunners off the mark with a wonderful piece of interplay with Gabriel Jesus and Martin Odegaard. Allow him to get behind the Wolves defense, get a fortunate bounce off of, is it Dawson? Was it?
I think it was Dawson, it was.
And then slide it home from, 3 yards out? 4 yards out?
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus would be involved again in the second when he would play a wonderful 1-2 with Zinchenko, who played the ball across for Odegaard, who sweetly slotted it home.
Dude, this was such a beautiful team goal. Like, I mean, if you're a Wolves defender, you just kind of put your hands up and say, well, shit. Give him a little clap.
Slow clap. Like, what do you do? You really can't do anything. It's the Arsenal we've been wanting to see all season. Could they keep it up for the rest of the game? It looked like they went back down into second gear after that. Because Wolves would get one back in the second half through Matthias Cunha, but the match was already done and dusted. And man, was that a terrible giveaway by Zinchenko or what?
Terrible, man. So here's my overall assessment of this game: is Arsenal for the first half, first 25 minutes, phenomenal. I mean, it didn't look like Wolves were gonna get a sniff of anything. Second half rolls around, and like you said, they let their foot off the gear. They had some chances they could have made. Trossard got put through on goal, and Ketia, I think, hit the crossbar post. And then just complacent. I don't know what to say about Zinchenko except complacent.
Yeah.
Giving the ball away like that on the edge of your box. And nervy last few minutes.
Arsenal are frustrating, man. Like, as a neutral or as an Arsenal fan, they're frustrating because for the first 26, 28 minutes of this match, I would have said that was the best football I've seen from any team all season. But after that, they look like they literally just stopped caring.
It kind of was. It kind of was that where they got their 2 goals. It was almost like, okay, we're going to go crush this team in 20 minutes, which they did. And then now we can, okay, look, they're almost looking forward to the next game. That's what it seemed like.
Pretty much. And that's going to bite them in the ass more than once this season if they keep doing that against teams that they should beat. I mean, I understand doing it when you're up 4-0, but up 2-0, that's the most dangerous scoreline in all of football.
Well, I guess here, let me flip it. I'm going to flip it for you.
Okay.
So they were up 2-0, comfortable. They get 1 scored. Versus if you think of last season, you know, we've been talking about Arsenal from this season to last season, where last season they were playing that free-flowing, very attacking football. A game like this, though, could have been the opposite. Or as you remember, last year it was more last-minute winners, last-minute draws. Versus now it's, okay, we're comfortable, and now, okay, we let 1 slip. So you can look at it that way as well. I'm trying to think of it as a glass half full type of situation.
Yeah, I mean,
throw a different perspective out there.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have the best defense in the Premier League, leading almost every single defensive category. But having this lapse of focus in big games is going to cost you. So it'll be interesting to see the rest of the season if they can kind of weed that out as they go along. As Manchester City has shown,
Zinchenko, man. Zinchenko will let a goal in.
Yes, he will. His lack of focus reminds me of that quote from Aaron Ramsdale.
Oh gosh, just think of it this way: he let this goal in so that he could save that goal on the line against Brentford.
If that's what it is, I will take it.
He had one in the bank. He had one in the bank that he had to get rid of. So
okay,
now he's even.
Well, I'll let him have that one. Next up, we had one of the biggest matches of the weekend. Newcastle against Manchester United, a banged-up Newcastle side against a high-flying Manchester United side in the Premier League. Can't say that about the Champions League. Give me that look.
I don't know if I'd call them high-flying, but
I mean, they have more points than anybody else.
Results-wise, yes, but the play on the field is not high-flying.
No, not at all. Newcastle would dominate this game. United would fight to the end. It would end 1-0. Victory for the home side at St. James's Park. They get their goal in the 55th minute as Trippier would play a wonderful ball across for Anthony Gordon to finish with ease. Nick Pope would get hurt late, adding to their injury list. And that brought up a lot of controversy between you and I know we were watching this live, both yelled at the TV. How does Anthony not put this ball in the net while Nick Pope is on the ground?
Sportsmanship, man.
Who cares? Put it in the net. If they call it back for sportsmanship, fine. He's on the ground. Put the ball in the net. It's 1-1. Now you have 1 point instead of losing the match.
So yeah, to paint a picture, Nick Pope, when he did go down injured, Anthony had the ball inside the 18-yard box. And you could tell he was looking at the goal, looking for someone to cross into. Nick Pope's on the ground. He, calling for medical attention. He wasn't terribly injured, but it's looking like now he will have to have surgery on his right shoulder, or one shoulder, his left shoulder, I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you said, put it in the net. And we were talking about the sportsmanship aspect of it. And you're a dirty dog is what you are, man.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of the man who had the ball. Does Anthony really have that much sportsmanship? I've seen the way he plays all season. He's dirtier than anybody else. Put it in the net. I would have applauded him for that. He did not.
You would have applauded him for that? I will say I was excited to see. Yeah. But honestly, we watched this game. It was an interesting one. It was very much a chess match. I got to give it up, man, to One of Newcastle's fullbacks, Livramento, was fantastic in this game. And I know you've been kind of, when Newcastle signed him, you were talking about he's a good player. He's going to be one to watch, Livramento, and you're not wrong, man.
He's
only 21.
He's lightning in a bottle. He's so fast. He's good dribbling, and his defensive
he's a very
work
good
has gotten
dribbler.
10 times better.
And he looks like one heck of a player, and you can see he's getting his chance now with Dan Burn out injured, and he's coming back into fitness. I know when he signed for Newcastle, he was injured there for a bit, but I gotta point him out as one of the players I liked watching in that game.
Yeah, he's fun, and I love his new signature runs where he literally just dribbles all the way down the field. It is so exciting to watch.
But I mean, let's talk about these two teams for a second. Manchester United and Newcastle. They're right next to each other in the table. Newcastle in 6th, United in 7th. But how different do they look as a team? You know, Newcastle looks like a team. You can tell what their mentality is, what they're about, how they all work for each other. Does that describe Manchester United?
No, not even a little bit. I mean, I think the most telling thing is if you look at Manchester United versus Newcastle and you just look at their goal differential. United's is -1 after this match, and Newcastle's is 18. They're one of the best. Well, I mean, there's only 3 goals separating United as far as how many they've let in, and Newcastle 14-17. But it's the amount of goals scored. Like, Newcastle have literally scored twice the amount of goals as Manchester United, and yet they've been struggling with all of these injuries all season.
I think it comes back to being a team, man. It seems like United seems to be a bunch of individuals almost. And honestly, you got to look at the recruiting from Newcastle, man. Look at the getting Livramento, you know, players like Guimaraes and Isak. All these Anthony Gordon.
I was just about to say that.
United, man, they get Anthony, Højlund, Casemiro, Eriksson,
Jadon Sancho.
But
yeah, you look at the way Newcastle have spent money too, right? Like, they haven't signed any huge superstar deals where United has spent bucket loads of money on single players.
Well, I mean, then I don't want to throw Ten Hag under the bus, but it's getting hard to defend him when he's had 4 transfer windows, spent $500 million, and they've regressed since last season.
Significantly.
And so, you know, at what point do you look at the manager?
Now? I mean, if you're going to bring in a coach, right, it's not going to be a permanent solution right now for Ten Hag. You need a short-term answer to a long-term solution right now. At this rate, I don't think... I mean, it's only a matter of time if they keep playing like this until he loses the dressing room, if he hasn't already.
And you got to look at the clubs, you know, even just around them in the table. When it works, when you get that new manager and it works, it can really work. Look at Unai Emery, man, at Aston Villa. I mean, Postecoglou even at Spurs.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe at Newcastle. Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton. And so when it can work well. And I don't know, maybe it's time. We'll see. I know I've been saying probably need to give him some more time, let him finish out the season. But I mean, at the end of the season, if they don't qualify for Champions League, I think, you know, because there might be 5 that qualify for Champions League. We'll see, but with the new format.
Yeah.
But I think you're starting to think of someone else. I don't think they will either. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And I am. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, the perfect man for this job, if you want to shore up your defense and pretty much play to Manchester United's strength as far as the players they have, is go get Antonio Conte. Said short-term solution for a long-term problem. You don't keep him longer than the end of the season. I know it's not a, you know, flashy signing as far as getting someone who's going to play beautiful football, but he gets the job done. That's all I can say.
Did he get the job done at Tottenham?
His first couple of seasons.
I don't think, was he there that long? I think he was only there like 2.
Okay, his first season. And part of the second, I guess. But yeah, I mean...
Until they left, yeah.
I'm just saying, someone here picked United to finish 7th this season. And you thought I was crazy. But that's not.
Well, they're sitting in 7th right now, so
that's none of my business.
Well, let's move on to a team that we both picked to finish in the Champions League and are looking pretty crazy for that as well. Chelsea, as they hosted Brighton, man. This one would end 3-2. A couple of goals by Enzo, a Levi Colwill goal. Would see enough to beat Brighton, who could only muster 2 goals from Buonanotte and João Pedro. This was a weird game, I feel like, for Chelsea. So, lots of highs and almost lots of lows within this game.
Yeah, and questionable decisions, too.
There was a couple.
Not just by the referee, but by players.
So, I guess we'll talk about the goals. Enzo would get the first one, a header, set piece, kind of that second play off a set piece in the 17th. Levi Colwill's goal would kind of be similar. That he would score. That one kind of barely crosses the line. I did love how he went to go celebrate and stopped once he realized it was Brighton.
He was celebrating halfway to the corner, and then all of a sudden he just comes up. Not going to do it.
Halfway to the corner in front of the Brighton fans.
In front of the Brighton fans. Yeah, heat of the moment.
So it was 2-0 at that point. Chelsea, I would say, played okay, played pretty well up until that point.
Yeah.
But Brighton, I feel like they looked the more threatening, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they dominated possession in the match. They had the ball up almost to Chelsea's defensive third. But it was like once they got into that third, they couldn't do anything with it.
They couldn't. They really, once you got around that 18-yard box, it's like, okay, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Just looking up.
They played out to the wing. Nobody would move in the box. So there's nobody making runs. No one trying to play the ball in for their big man, M. Ferguson up front. No one playing that killer ball. And you could tell the difference as soon as Matoma came on.
Oh, yeah. But we'll talk about... So they go into halftime, though, at 2-1. Buonanotte scores a beautiful rocket of a shot there. And then in stoppage time, Conor Gallagher gets sent off for a second yellow.
This is the first of the questionable decisions I was referring to.
So don't get me wrong.
Questionable decision by Conor Gallagher, not the referee.
Moises Caicedo also should have been sent off in this game.
Yes, 100%.
100%. He had a yellow card. He made 2 bad tackles. I don't know how he got away with both of them and didn't get a second yellow.
I'm pretty sure at one point there was a Brighton player asking why he wasn't given another yellow, and then that Brighton player got a yellow. It made no sense.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about then the winner for Chelsea. It was Enzo scoring a PK. Mykhailo Mudryk gets put through on goal. James Milner was deemed to have fouled him, bumbled him over in the box. Ref originally did not call a foul.
Mm-hmm.
And VAR sent him to the monitor to have another look, as VAR deemed this was a clear and obvious error, so he should go look. Is that a clear and obvious error, not calling that a foul?
Well, I'll put it this way. Not even the commentator thought it was a penalty kick. I didn't either. This is shoulder to shoulder. Yes, okay, Milner's arm is across Mudryk's chest, but Mudryk's not getting to that ball anyways.
I think it is a foul. I'm going to be honest.
A penalty.
I think it's a foul. James Milner bundles into Mudryk, knocking him over as he's through on goal. If you're Mudryk and someone does that to you, you are wanting a foul.
Anytime anyone can knock me over on a pitch, yes, I do want a foul because it gets called on me all the time. So.
And so don't get me wrong, I don't think it's... If the ref goes to the monitor and doesn't give it, I'm not complaining too bad because I'm a neutral.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're a Chelsea fan, you think that's a foul. If you're a Brighton fan, you definitely don't think it's a foul. And for me, I slightly lean towards I thought it was a foul.
I honestly, I'm going to... The process was correct. Having the ref make the decision, having him go to the monitor to look at it. He made the decision. I'm not upset by it. I don't think it's a penalty at any day of the week. But the process, as far as VAR, was correct.
How is it not a penalty, man? Milner clatters into Mudryk, bringing him down in the box.
Shoulder
as he's
to
through
shoulder.
On goal, one-on-one.
Mudryk is tiny. James Milner is a brick shithouse.
So when a brick shithouse clatters into someone tiny, it's still a foul.
It was 50-50 shoulder to shoulder. That is why I don't think it's a penalty.
They're shoulder to shoulder, and there's fumbling into someone. I think it's a foul. But we'll move on to another game. This one, man, is the game of golazos. We had Liverpool hosting Fulham. What a game.
What a game.
Liverpool take the lead, man. Beautiful free kick from Trent Alexander-Arnold. A bit unlucky. It comes off the crossbar, off of the back of Ligne, goes in.
Is this like the third or fourth time we've seen this happen this season? Because I feel like the only other time I've seen it was like when a penalty kick hit off the back of Tim Howard's head. And that's
Jordan Pickford. Remember Jordan Pickford? That happened to him this season. It's happened to
quite
a couple others.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Happened to Emi Martinez here a couple weeks ago. But man, Fulham, they equalize through Harry Wilson just 4 minutes later. And honestly, this one made me question Liverpool's defense a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Like, watching this game made me question Liverpool's defense, which, I mean, in reality, stats-wise, they only got 14 goals against, so they're not terrible. That's second best in the league.
Well, I mean, when you dominate possession and you're always on attack, it's kind of hard for the other team to score, right?
But Fulham scored 3, so...
I know. When they do get challenged on defense, they let in goals. Quite a few.
Maybe it's worth noting no Alisson in this game.
I'm sure that had something to do with it, especially for that first one.
That could make a difference. I definitely think goalkeeper maybe could have done a little better. The ball kind of goes through him, off of his foot, off his body, and goes in. But Liverpool, man, they get to lead back through a stunner. Alexis McAllister, man, with a half volley from 20, 30 yards out?
Something like that. And this thing was a laser beam. Ooh.
What a way to score your first goal for Liverpool.
Right? Holy cow.
Weird saying that's only his first goal, though, and here we are in December.
Yeah, it is strange, especially for a guy who is known for his attacking abilities in midfield.
I'm guessing it's because he's playing deeper, but... Kenny Tete would level right before halftime. Again, shot that kind of goes through the goalkeeper's hands. Kind of through the goalkeper, yeah.
You asked if it would have made a difference if Alisson was in this match?
I think it would have.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 instances right there, so.
Fulham would make it 3-2 with a De Cordova-Reid header in the 80th. And so there's 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of this game. Because Wataru Endo, man, would put a shot top bins after a Mo Salah layoff to make it 3-3 in the 87th. Before Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold gets the late winner with a fantastic strike. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Leno could have done anything against any of these goals.
No, not at all.
Doesn't matter what goalkeeper's there. They're going in.
Yeah. No, unless you put a brick wall in front of the goal, there's no way that any keeper in the world is saving any of those.
What'd you think of Darwin Nunez's new hairdo?
Yeah.
The braided pigtails.
Yeah. It's like he wants to be Erling Haaland, but he's not cool enough to pull off the hair.
Or good enough? Because he definitely missed some chances in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. He misses the easy ones and scores the spectacular, but I mean, the potential is so high for him. And he's so wasteful. So wasteful. Maybe it was the hairdo. I don't know. But he's been missing chances all season, and he hasn't had it. Maybe he was trying to channel his inner Britney Spears so he could say, oops, I did it again.
Did you write that one down beforehand? I swear.
No. Just off top of the dome. Remember you said I have a couple of ounces missing. Well, there you go.
They're getting filled up now, huh?
Right here, my friend. Right here.
Oh, man. All right. But what a game. That was a fun one to watch. Next game we watched was West Ham against Crystal Palace. This one ended 1-1. Kudus' early strike would be canceled out by Edson Edouard. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is West Ham against Crystal Palace. Did you expect anything less? I mean, I called a draw.
Yeah. No,
Got it right.
I picked West Ham because I thought they might nick a goal at the end of it, but that's really it. And good job picking a draw in this one. It could have, it looked like a draw the whole match, to be honest with you.
I'd say West Ham probably could have had a winner, but yeah. I mean, Kudus with a nice first-time finish that, again, kind of goes through Johnstone. Could he have done better? I'm not a goalie coach. Never really played goalie unless I had to.
Yeah. I think he could have
maybe gotten a foot to it instead or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna chalk it up to a nice goal by Kudus.
Maybe the first time finish caught him off guard type of thing.
Probably. Yeah, because when you watch a replay, you never really see where the goalie's feet are when the ball is hit. So
that's always a fun one when you can see where their feet are and you see a shot come in and they had taken that bounce that they usually do, and they're like they have to wait to fall before they can. Yeah, that's a fun one to watch. But there was a situation in this game. Kudus whips in a cross that Souček tries to swing a foot at. He misses, but then the ball goes into the net without anyone else touching it. It was called for offsides, as it was deemed Souček interfered. Do you think that was the correct call?
I'm going to go with, I think so. Usually when an attacker makes a play at a ball like that, it's throwing somebody off, especially if their action doesn't get touched by anybody. So yeah, I would say so, and I guess today I'm feeling nice to Johnstone.
You are.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I've got a couple extra ounces in my brain now. I don't know.
Well, here I'll actually tell you why I so agree with you. Because when you see Souček take a swing at the ball, Johnstone's hands move. Like he's trying to anticipate him getting a touch. And so I feel like at that point he does interfere with the goalkeeper. And that's why I would agree.
Yeah, I mean we've seen offsides given for less actions towards the ball.
Yeah.
So, and that I will agree. Yes. Good call.
Crystal Palace, they would get their equalizer through a absolute garbage ball of a back pass.
A horror show of a back pass.
From Edson Alvarez. Not sure what he was doing, just making a pass straight to Edson Edouard, who then takes it down and scores.
He said, whatever Zinchenko can do, I can do better.
Now, wasn't there a goal like this? Bournemouth, one of the Bournemouth players hit something like this to
yeah,
or that Thiago Silva pass a couple weeks ago against Newcastle.
Last week,
about on that level.
Yeah,
equally garbage.
Yeah.
But speaking of Bournemouth, they played Villa in what we thought would be a blowout for the Villains. Ended 2-2. Bournemouth, man, they would go up twice in this game, only to be pegged back twice. And the last one was a late Ollie Watkins strike, man. It started out Semenyo scores first in the 10th minute after a poor giveaway from Diego Carlos on the edge of his own box. So that one was more like a Zinchenko. Poor giveaway. Semenyo scores it. Leon Bailey would level for Villa 10 minutes later with a superb left-footed finish. Isn't it common knowledge, don't let Leon Bailey cut in on that left foot?
It's about as common knowledge as don't let Antony cut in on his left foot. Because neither one of them can do anything when you don't let him do that.
I mean, Leon Bailey's not Arjen Robben where you know what he's going to do, but then he still does it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a good player, but you still don't let Leon Bailey cut in on his left foot.
I thought it was common knowledge, too.
Yeah. Semenyo, man, he was lucky to be on the pitch after he got a yellow card for dissent, and then he has an obvious pullback on the arm jersey of Leon Bailey.
You could literally see the jersey away from his body.
Oh, yeah. How was that not a second yellow for a red?
Again, why didn't Moises Caicedo get sent off either? I don't know.
Hands in air, hands on head, I don't know, because that's an obvious yellow. Anywhere, any other time, that is a yellow. The ref was feeling, as you were feeling for John Stone, the ref was feeling that for Semenyo, man. Because he let him stay on.
Whew.
Bournemouth, they do get the lead through Dominic Solanke in the 52nd with a nice turn and finish. His 7th of the season and his best so far in the Prem.
Yeah, man, he's on fire right now. Kind of with Bournemouth's form. When he's scoring goals, they're not doing terrible.
Only one loss in their last 5 games for Bournemouth.
Yeah, 3 wins and a draw. 1 loss in the last 5. They're pulling themselves way out of that relegation scrap. And, what was it? 3-4 weeks ago, we were saying, when are they going to fire their new manager?
Starting to come together, it looks like, for Iraola. And as I mentioned, Ollie Watkins, he gets the equalizer right at the death in the 90th minute with a magnificent flicked header for his 8th of the season.
Yeah, it sums up Ollie Watkins at the moment, man. He just can't seem to miss. He's fantastic.
Check this out. Aston Villa are in 4th place, 1 point behind 3rd place, Manchester City.
And guess who plays each other this week? Villa.
Come on, Villa.
To go above City. Yeah, crazy. And you called me crazy for predicting they would finish in the top 4.
Still a long way to go.
I know.
Just like how I'm looking at Luton sitting outside relegation, but barely.
Well, it is a long season. It's much harder to finish in 4th than it is to get out of the relegation zone because every point matters versus you got to get a lot of points to stay in the top 4.
But let's look at them on the table, man. Bournemouth, they sit 16th on 13 points, tied on points with Nottingham Forest, who are in 15th.
Yeah, man.
That's a big jump, Ray. That's a big jump right there, man.
6 points out of the drop. Good for them. They're looking they're playing some beautiful football right now. I'll give them that. And they're starting to surprise some people. They got a run of games coming up, I think. Let me look.
Well, next they play Palace, and they got
they
United,
Palace, so
Luton, Forest. Yeah. I mean,
they could pick up some points here. I'm telling you.
They could pick up some points.
And they're not all that far off at 13. They're not very far off 10th. Just 6 points. And we all have seen how Chelsea have been this season. They're very up and down. Yeah. So, be interesting.
All right, man. Well, let's move to the game of the weekend. This was Manchester City hosting Tottenham Hotspur at the Etihad. This one ended in a thrilling. Thrilling.
Might as well
3-3
just
draw,
scream.
man.
Yeah.
And it ends in a bit of controversy, shall we say. How do you want to do this one? You want to start the controversy or just go through the goals?
Let's go through the goals because it's at the end anyways.
It is at the very end. All right. So Son would put Spurs up after 6 minutes, man, on a beautiful counterattack. All he had was Jeremy Doku guarding him. He shrugs him off. Doku is not a defender. I got that from that little sequence of play.
Right? Like he tries to play the man to get in front of Son, but Son is not only bigger than him, just
He's
as
also
fast,
quick.
but he also has better attacking positioning than a guy who is not a great defender. So, yeah, Doku has no right being essentially the last man between Son and the goal.
Well, he was, and he got outmuscled, outplayed. Son finishes it. Ederson? Question mark?
Yes, I think he definitely could have done better. He does go down what looked like a little early, and it goes through his hands. But again, this is down to the way City are playing right now with the inverted fullback. You know, certain teams match up against it very well. Tottenham is one of those teams where they can break. As soon as they get the ball, they are on attack in your final third. And like I said, Doku has no right to be the last man between Heung-min Son and Ederson.
And they got speed. Tottenham.
Yeah.
With Son, Brennan
Johnson, yeah.
And then they had Brian Gill also playing on the left back, that left wing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Son, man, he would score again, this time at the wrong end. He scores an own goal.
I felt so bad for him because Erling Haaland flicks his ball on and he's already like just running back towards a goal and just hits his knee and goes in the bottom corner. Like
his knee, his thigh, whatever, somewhere in there.
What can you do about that? Like you just see the look on his face when it hits his knee, and he's just like,
pretty much mouth open, like, damn,
yeah, no,
slow motion.
Oh shit!
City get the lead through Phil Foden after they just sliced and diced and minced.
Yeah, I think minced is a good word for that because they passed the ball through that Spurs defense. I think Foden was 3 yards out from the goal when he got the ball.
Had simple as of finishes.
Yeah. It was like 3 players just all the way through. Cool, beautiful. But that's what we've been known from City.
And it was a little bit different in the second half. City slowed down a little, shall we say, or Spurs grew into it, and they got an equalizer through Giovanni Lo Celso. Man.
Whew.
It was a lovely goal that hits the inside of the post and goes in.
Yeah.
It was a beauty.
It was a beauty of a strike, but Ederson also got his hand to it.
I don't think you can fault Ederson too much on that one.
No. I'm saying that's how good of a strike it was. Ederson had that post covered, and it still went in.
What I loved about this is Jack Grealish would come on. He would get their third in the 81st minute, man, and you could tell they thought it was done and dusted. We got the win here. There's only 10 minutes or so left, plus stoppage. And it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, when the camera panned to Pep, you could just see the look on his face like, yes, we did it. Yes,
even the announcers kind of were like, oh, they got it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a terrible giveaway from Basuma.
What was he doing? He literally dribbled.
He was trying to make him.
Into 3 City players, had a pass 4 yards away from him, turns around and tries to make, I think it was Rodri. What are you doing?
World, I don't know.
I don't.
But as I said, man, it wasn't meant to be because Spurs would equalize in the 90th. Dejan Kulusevski, man, climbing the tower, rising above Nathan Ake, getting his head to the ball, scoring in the dying minutes to equalize.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but what was he doing? Nathan Ake, just staring at the ball. Kulusevski runs from 30 yards away to beat him to this ball. Literally jumping up and out-muscling him while he's in the air. AKA jumping over his head.
Nathan Ake had also just come on as a sub, so I'm guessing he was not up to game speed, a little cold. Kulusevski was not.
No. Yeah, great header by him. Great finish. Great anticipation for that as well. And good job, Spurs, man. They impressed me in this one.
It was a good job, Spurs. I will say City missed some chances. Haaland had a sitter that he missed.
Or 3.
Doku hit the crossbar. Alvarez hit the post.
Yeah. And Vicario coming up big in this one.
Vicario having some nice saves. So it just kind of fell into Spurs' way a little bit. A little unlucky, I guess, with the own goal from Son, but
I will say, I think if City have this many chances in a match again the rest of the season, they don't draw or lose any of those matches. They will win it 10 times out of 10. This is an anomaly with how many chances they had to win this match.
Apparently it's 9 times out of 10.
Correction. 9 times.
Touche, huh?
Yes.
All right, well, let's get to the big talking point, man. So at the end of the game, Erling Haaland was fouled, got up from the foul pretty quickly, still had control of the ball, plays a through ball to Jack Grealish, who then gets put through on goal. And the referee then calls for the foul on Erling Haaland instead of playing advantage.
What was the ref thinking?
So I'll tell you, it's definitely a mistake. But I'm guessing the referee did not believe Jack Grealish had that much of an advantage or could have got to the ball. Was my only thinking on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thinking. Then
he thinks, okay, there's not much of an advantage. Grealish can't get to the ball. There's just no advantage, and so he calls it back. That would be my only explanation of it.
But at that point, wouldn't you let VAR? Like, if he's offsides even, let VAR call that. If it's not an advantage, let him play through. If he can't get the ball, then call it back. We've seen it happen before. Would have only been a couple more seconds before he got to the ball. He made the decision to play advantage. You should have let them do exactly that. As a ref, you can't just give it and then renege it right afterwards, as soon as the ball gets played through. I mean, I can understand your point, especially if the ref's point of view is that it looks like a Spurs player is much closer to the ball. I understand that. And I also I want to point out that I do not condone the actions of the City players after he blew the whistle.
The memes that have come out of it, though, are
Holy
pretty
cow.
great. If you guys haven't seen any of these memes, make sure you're following our story on Instagram. I've posted a few of them.
You've posted some real good ones. Yes, good.
So make sure you're following us on our Instagram and, maybe TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, comment, do your thing.
Do your thing. But Erling Haaland puts his hands on the ref during this point of making a meme. You never do that, man. Like, there's supposed to be a rule of giving out yellow cards for people asking for cards or yelling at the ref and getting in his face. Well, you should have pretty much given a yellow card to every single player on that City squad for doing that. As much as I want to, say referees kind of put themselves in these situations, I still don't agree with players going up into their face and yelling at them from 3 inches away. Like, I still don't agree with that. Even though I'm one of those people. So
all I can say is it's a mistake. It's a refereeing mistake, not a VAR mistake. So you can't harp on VAR. It was it was a refereeing mistake. And then you move on.
You heard my thoughts. I'm moving on anyways. City fans probably won't. Erling Haaland probably won't.
Well, that's going to be one heck of a week of football, man. This brings us to the end of this episode. What a week it was in the weekend, man. Tottenham drawing Man City, the Liverpool comeback, Arsenal staying top of the table, and we got another fun week of football to look forward to. Make sure you guys are following us again on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, all the 5 stars on your favorite podcast platforms. I'm Targo. This is Redbeard. This is Brews and Banter. As always, you guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you, and cheers.